Memorial Day or Decoration Day is a federal holiday in the United States for remembering the people who died while serving in the country's armed forces. I don't know what I'm going to say or how I'm going to say it, but I was a part of the armed forces for 21 years, so I feel like I should say something. And it's so much that I have to say, so much that I've come to realize that I've already spoken about. Yet the world remains the same. So I guess I feel like I should at least try again to say something. But memorial. Now, this is not something excellent I'll be talking about, but something that should be memorable and remembered and committed to memory, I feel like, because these folks that have died, those folks that I used to consider and do consider brother and sister, as we're all on the same side, same team. The problem is we were all lied to when all these teams were set up for us. 3 years ago, see, for 21 years I was there, and then 3 years ago while I was out, and I went through my inner process of, well, relearning things and coming to try to know things for myself instead of blindly believing what I was taught my whole life, because I didn't know what any of it meant. But I can remember it was a while after I was out, probably the better part of a year it took me to finally be able to start to feel. And at the beginning, to be honest, I didn't truly know what feelings felt like. What I mean by that is not the feeling or of some sensation of pain or some feeling like that of the physical body. I mean the feeling of empathy inside, like hurt feelings, because I was so full of so many toxins, pumped full of so many different injections, and it was all done on purpose to suppress my consciousness and my ability to feel. Because without that, and then without the indoctrination that followed to cause the separation of my psyche of us versus them, us versus them, us versus them, that's what allowed me to blindly follow orders and go along and commit immoral acts such as war, just because I was told to do so by someone else. And I realized what it comes down to, really. It comes down to a logical fallacy that I was committing, that I committed for 39 years of my life over and over again, which was the appeal to authority. Because I didn't truly know what was right or wrong for myself, inside myself, in such a way as to where it would guide my actions. In my mind, I would constantly look for what authority told me to do in any given situation. And I would go with what I thought that was, or a similar scenario that had played out on something I had watched, something I consumed media-wise, like a movie or TV show, that gave me some point of reference in my mind as to how maybe I should react or act in a certain situation, which was absolutely incorrect on my part. And I didn't realize that I was fully indoctrinated and under the mind control that this society was designed to provide for the populace, because it is how the populace is controlled, by constant appeal to authority, of asking authority for what's right, what's wrong, what can I do, what can I not do, instead of knowing inside morally that any action one takes that does not cause harm directly or indirectly, that is everyone's right. That is everyone's right as a living sentient being to take that action, to do that thing that does not cause harm directly or indirectly to other life. I didn't realize that, and that's what the masses don't yet realize. That's why we're always following this rule, this statute, this law, that law, because we don't know natural law. Because we don't realize that, well, we don't realize a lot of things until we realize them ourselves. Until we realize something ourselves and then look into it to know more, to know what's happened. To work through that memory, no matter how fractured it is in there, to try and get some semblance of the big picture instead of concentrating on a single brush stroke of the grand tapestry of life that we all are a part of every single moment. Those of us that are still here. Plenty of us are not here because plenty of folks have been told by some authority or other that they're this label, that label, they fall into this group or that group. And then they are turned on each other. They're turned against groups of different labels. They're turned against others within their own group that they've attached themselves to. All for no real good reason, no reason of their own. So, really, we are the only ones that can stop this and can change this. When we stop giving away our authority and our sovereignty to others, and we realize that we only have authority and sovereignty over ourselves and our fleshly body that our spirit and soul get to inhabit while it's here to experience this. It took me 3 years to be able to get there, not quite 3 years, but it took me a long time to be able to get there within myself to where I could speak those words and mean them and know them. Because for so much of my life, I was too shut off to be able to comprehend the things I can comprehend and know now. Know to be true, not believe. Belief has nothing to do with anything I'm saying. It is only because I've broken the beliefs I was programmed with my whole life to a few years back. It's only because I've broken those beliefs and because I knew I had to know more. I had to know why. So remember that on Memorial Day as you reflect and you remember. Try to remember the reasons why all these folks die and are dying, and you'll see. And it was all because it was based off of some lie or other that was perpetrated and constructed by someone and just told to everyone, and everyone accepted it, or not everyone, but enough to cause this destruction to continue. And it is continuing every day in all walks of life, in every single part of the system or corporation that's been set up. You have to look at it for what it is, not the single brushstroke of the portion of it that you are a part of, but the whole big picture and how you fit into it and how your actions may or may not be directly causing harm and the enslavement and the death of others. There are more empty homes than there are homeless. If we could break the belief systems of money and false authority being held over us by others that are actually our equal, if everyone could remember that inside in us men and women that there is equality because we are equal to each other and we are sharing this experience equally, well, maybe we could find that common ground, and that common ground is empathy and morality. And that is what will save this world. But that takes each of us to do it inside ourselves and then to change both our thought patterns and our patterns of actions and behavior. Thank you for listening. I hope this reaches someone because things need to change because we are indeed being destroyed, and it's very purposeful in multiple ways. Please feel free to listen to any of my other videos and to share whatever you whatever you find that could help.